languages like C, C++, Java, or Python, or any other language that you have used so far, or this is your first interface with the programming languages. You can just type in chat window so that I get to know the audience that I am dealing with. So my pace will be completely dependent on how best you are coping up with my teaching and how you are carrying yourself with the pace that I'm handling in this course, so that it will help me to make sure that I can give more examples, elaborate more examples. And as I told, I will be sharing I'll be sharing the code also, and I'll be sharing the PPTs also. So at the end of the sessions, every day, at the end of sessions, every Sunday, I'll share the PPT as well as the code that I'm using, so that if you have missed out on any of these things, probably it will help you to go for the practicing those programs. Okay, I think three of the participants have replied, so they know C, C++, Java. Very good. C, MATLAB, good. C languages, and then Ada languages. Okay. No issues, sir. Rajesh, sir, no issues. If you are new to program language, no issues, because Python compared to all the other languages is very simple, very easy to use or understand. So it will help us in, it will help you to easily grasp the topics. And okay, most of you have C, C++, and JSP. Good. I think the audience that I'm addressing are well versed with the program languages. So I'll also make sure that those who are new to the program languages, you can pick up with respect to the materials that I'm sharing, so that it will help you to uh, quickly pick up the thing. Yes, someone has raised a Amit, sir. So any query you have? Okay, if not, we'll start with the session. So as and when, as I told, as and when I start dealing with. So in this case, we are having three IDEs. One is through a command prompt, one is through a pie chart, and one is through a Google Colab. But for most of my programming, for completely this course, we can use the Google Colab, because pie chart is when you start using for a project. But whereas when you start learning Python, it is always good to go for the Colab. Okay, so we'll just start with the programming languages or the Python. So what exactly is a Python? It is one of the programming language, or the popular programming language. It was created in 1991. So you can see that it was created on par with the Java. The time when Java was introduced, that was when Python was also there in the market. And lately, the Python picked up the pace, or it became more popular in the late 2010 or early 2010 11 part. So where when it was ported to the machine learning, AI, and deep learning, that is when the popularity of the Python started increasing. Data science, where the Python is heavily used because of the packages that it is supporting. Compared to all the other languages, the Python, as I told, is very simple language. It is very easy to understand, but it has some indentation, some APIs, the usage, or some do's and don'ts of the languages. So that once we know, I think we should be able to, we are good to understand, we are good to execute the program. Now, Python is called as the object-oriented scripting language or program languages. So it is the one where you have a support of all the OOPs as well as the, and it has orientation toward the scripting languages also. Now, what when we say object-oriented program languages, we say that C program, most of the participants know there is a language called as C, which was introduced in the 1970s. So that is called as a procedure-oriented language. So a language is called as a procedure-oriented language when a programmer tries to give more importance onto the logic, onto the steps that he is writing or the code that he is writing, where the main focus will be on how to solve the problem. Whereas when you start with the object-oriented languages, the main focus will be on object along with the code also, or the logic. So when we say object, say for example, if I take this course as an object, I'll say that this course has a name, so called as Python programming. It has a start date or end date. Those are its attributes. It has a number of participants, around 60, we can say, and there is a one instructor, me, Pramodes. And like this, there will be some attributes to it. And then another example I can take, a car. If you take car as an object, so as a whole, the attributes of the car will be the model, the year in which it was made, and number of tires it has, the horsepower or the number of liter that it has or it supports. So those are its attributes, and its functions will be, it can move, it can apply the brake, it can accelerate. So these are the functions. So when we say object-oriented programming languages, anything that we can take, we can consider it as an object, and then we can write our code around that object. So that is the main difference between a procedure language as well as object-oriented language. And Python, as I told, is a general purpose interpreted, interactive, object-oriented, and as well as high-level language. What is meant by interpreted? That means in Google Colab, I'll show you how each line can be executed as a part. Say, for example, if I take C or C++ or Java, these programming languages or .NET, these programming languages, they need a complete code to be written first, and then you execute that as a one program. When everything is correct, there is no syntactic error or anything else missing in the program, the code should be able to give you the output. But in Python, we can just write one simple statement and we can execute it and we can see the output. So interpreted and interactive. Interactive is basically most of the program are interactive, like you can create a GUIs and then you can work with it. And object oriented, as I told you, it is an object oriented program languages, as well as it is a high level language. So in computer science, we say there is a assembly level language, there is a low level language, mid level language, and there's a high level language. So any program language you are applying to the domains like machine learning, AI, or deep learning, or data science, so those are called
Hello.
as the language. Yes.
Pramod, this can you explain again this? You told a difference between the object-oriented and the procedural language. Can you just tell
Yes.
again? Because I
Yes.
missed.
Yes. Okay, sir. So procedure language, if I take a simple example, it is a C language. So C language is called as a procedure oriented language. That means where our main focus will be on the code, the logic that we're writing, the problem that we're solving, that will be our main logic, where we use, we take some variables which can have some values, and then we write different functions which can execute, and then we will make sure that whatever the objective that we're achieving, we'll achieve it, and more focus will be on the codes. Whereas in object-oriented languages, if I take an example of a car, as I told, car, we treat it as a one object. So object consists of some parameters or some attributes. Attributes in the sense it has four wheels, tires, and it can be seated with 4 to 5 people. It has so many horsepower. It can accommodate this many number of liters of petrol. And the functions of the car are, it can move, it can stop, you can apply the brake, you can accelerate the car. So these are the properties, sorry, the functions of the car, and properties are how many tires are there, how many people can be seated, what is the color of a car, what is the model of the car. So these are the attributes. So when we say object-oriented programming languages, the main focus will be on creating an object where data or the attributes and the function are coexisting. So we will house it in one particular block where we will add both the data as well as the functions. So functions use the data and then they will give you the output. So this is the main difference between procedure-oriented language as well as the object-oriented languages. Okay, then so as I told, it's a high level language, so it can be used in many applications like AI, ML, deep learning, data science. So it can be used to work with the database and all. So these are the different areas where why the Python was introduced and how it became popular. So now what exactly or where exactly we can use the Python? So we say that it is introduced in 1991, but its popularity started in 2000, late 2010. So we can use Python for web development, software development, any application you want to create, you can do it. Web development, you can create GUIs, more or less a server-side applications you can create. Even client-side GUIs also you can create. System scripting, data analysis, and plotting. This is the main area where the Python is being used now. Data science field, where you work with the data, you plot the data, you create some beautiful graphs or charts, which will analyze so many number of rows and columns and then give you what exactly are the gist of the data set that you are dealing with. GUIs, graphical user interfaces. Database programming, you can work with a database where you can store data, retrieve data, and then modify data. Numeric as well as scientific programming, this can be used for the any computations related to numeric as well as scientific programming. Natural language processing, this is again one more field where Python is being used, and you can use it for games, working with images, AI, and other fields. So n number of fields are there where Python is being used now. Now, why Python? So as I told, Python has been more popular now, but why we have to use Python? The one of the main reasons are that it can be implemented or it can be introduced or used on any programming platforms or any platforms like Windows we can use, Mac OS we can use, Linux we can use, even the Raspberry Pis where it comes up with the built-in data support for the Python. There also we can use the Python. So these are the different platforms wherein we can implement the Python and we can create the projects. So that is one. And second most important reason for using Python is it has a very simple syntax. So when we say simple syntax, as I told, when we create a C program or a Java program or C++ or .NET, we write a complete code where just to print 2 lines or 3 lines, we write a complete code and then we execute. But in Python, it is just 1 line we can execute. So that also I'll show you. So Python has syntax that allows developers to write programs with fewer lines compared to other languages. Yes, the Python will give you where you can use fewer languages. Plus, there are a lot of API supports are there. So where built-in functions are available, all we have to do is we have to use them and we have to execute our code. And Python runs on interpreter system. So interpreters, as I told, line by line you can execute, meaning that the code can be executed as soon as it is written. So 1 line I will write, I'll execute it. It can happen in Python, but not in C, C++, Java, or .NET. You have to write a complete code first, end to end, then you run just to see the output of 1 line. Whereas in Python, you can write that 1 line, run it just to see it is working or not. So that can be done. And Python can be treated as a in a procedural way, an object-oriented way, or functional way. So if you're not using any objects, it will look like in procedure-oriented languages. If you're using objects, it is object-oriented languages, and you can create a multiple functions also. Now, Python was designed for readability and has some similarity with the English language. As I told, most of the simple syntax that we write, it can take reference from the English language as well as some of the functions that we use are from the reference from the mathematics. And it uses new lines to complete the command. So I think these are all things we will get to know when we start. And one thing main about the Python is the indentation. I think you can see indentation is the one thing. When we start using IDE, default or built-in support is there for indentation, but we should be aware of how to use that indentation or using the wide scope, because indentation will decide what is the scope of the code that you have written above. So for example, there are some lines of codes which I have to execute n number of times, so I will write it in a loop. There is something called as a loop in programming languages, which will help you to repeat a set of instructions n number of times. So anything that I want to be part of that loops, I will write it with the indentation so that it is a part of the loop. So most of the language, those who are aware of C, C++, they will be able to understand that indentation, why indentation is very important. Plus, you need to be aware of how to write the code also. Okay, so just to give you the comparison between the languages, between C, C++, Java, as well as Python. So this is one simple example of printing hello world using a C language. So you can see that this line is a comment, So anything which starts with the double quotes in C, C++, Java is treated as a comment. So that means when we execute this line, this particular line will not be shown onto the screen. And it starts with this line, hash include stdio.h. So in C, we have something called as a header file, which consists of some of the built-in functions like say printf or anything. And we have a main function here, int main, and we have printf, which prints hello world. And then we say return 0 and then end. So this, to print this much hello world, we are using 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lines of code. This is with C. Similarly with C++, again, it also, since C++ completely depends on C for syntax and other things, so it also has the same structure, hash include, but it uses a different header files. It uses something called as IO stream, int main, standard input output, where we say C out and then hello world. So this angular bracket will, this line is completely as this line printf. Whatever you write, if C out, this will be displayed onto the screen when you run the program. If there are no errors, if this program runs, then there will be output. Then we say return 0. Again, this line also 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 lines in C, 5 lines in C++ when we go for printing just a 1 or 2 words called as hello world. Now we'll see how does it happens with the Java. So Java, again, this is a comment which will not be shown onto the screen when you execute this code. Java is a little bit complicated compared to C and C++. So there's something called as public class. There will be class name. Then there is a function. In C and C++, we use something called as int main. In Java, we use public static void main string args. To print a hello world, we use a command called as system.out.println, and then this is how it executes. And this uses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lines of code. No, C, C++, or Java all uses 5 lines of code just to print 2 words. Whereas Python, you can see this is Python code. This uses just 1 line, very simple syntax, print. Everybody knows print means in English, it is printing something with onto the paper or a printer. So in program language, when we say print printf, it means something we are printing onto the screen. So print, single quotes or double quotes we can use, hello world. So whatever is written in this parenthesis inside the single quote or double quote, this will be shown onto the screen. So you can see how simple is programming languages, Python programming compared to C, C++, as well as Java. So this is one of the main reasons why Python has become more popular with the software developers, because you require very less amount of code to write to achieve the code than compared to other languages. Okay, now what Python can do? So we have seen that it can be used for creating the web applications. Also, you can create the software workflows. You can use it to connect to database systems. You can execute or read files and then modify files. And when you go for big data or data science, you can handle big data. You can do complex mathematics on it, and it will help you in rapid prototyping. Prototyping. Rapid prototyping is you how quickly you execute this code and how quickly you get your product ready. So that is what the rapid prototyping is. There in software engineering terms, we use something called as waterfall model. We use agile model. So there are so many different types are there. So Python will help you to quickly write the code and then develop the product. Now, indentation, as I told, there is something called as indentation, which is very, very important with respect to Python. If you're writing simple printf statement, there should not be any worry with respect to indentation. But when you start using the condition statements or when you start using the loops, that is where this indentation is required. Okay. So leading white spaces or tabs at the beginning of the logical line is used to determine whether the indentation is for the underlying codes or not. So you need to use, since we are using IDE like Colab or PyCharm, they will give you by default the information or the built-in support for the indentation. So you don't have to worry about, but you need to be knowing when should a loop end, when should a new line starts. So that is where you need to be aware of it.
So
Okay.
sorry to interrupt. I have a basic doubt.
Yes, sir.
I'm Anand Raj. Sir, actually, I have heard from people that actually Python codes, they are all in script format and the source code is always exposed. Is that a right statement? Like for example, no, like when I use C, C++, C sharp, etc.
Mhm.
No, when I make a project, I always end up with a DLL or ex and DLL and exe files. But
Mhm.
whereas I was told by someone, I don't know whether it was true because I'm just new to Python. I was told
Mhm.
that no, the it is always a .py file wherein the script is all, I mean, the source code is always in a script form and it is exposed and you cannot protect it. I mean, protect the visibility of the source code. Is that right, sir?
So .py is the file name that we store. So like if you are using C, if you write a program, when you say save the file as, you save it as a .c.
Okay.
Java, we save as a .java. So
Right.
similarly, we write Python as a .py.
Okay.
Okay, so it is like unless you decide to expose your code, I think like if you give up your Python code to me, I can
Okay.
open it in any of the notepad. Similarly, if you give me your Java code, I can open it in any notepad. So there is not with respect to the exposing of the code, and most of the code that we are dealing with, it is available on the net. So you can search for any code, it is available. Even for Java, C, C++, anything, it is available. .py, what you told, is just a file name that we are storing.
Okay, so at the end, okay, I got it, sir. Like, dot C is a file, I know where the source code is, fed, and then, when I compile and, generate the build files, then, you have, either an .exe or .dll. Similarly, in Python also, we have some other format, is it? Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll just run through these installation. So I think once I will share this PPT with all of you, I think you can go for the installation of Python. Just to be clear, today we are just looking at this one. So this class is only for 1 hour today. So we'll end it by 11 today. But next week we'll take 3 hours. So 3 hours with breaks in between, and then we will be because we want all of you to be ready with these installed code and all, or the other Google Colab and all. So installation of Python. So if you are using a new laptop, or if you have not installed Python any time in your laptop and you want to learn with the Python, the first thing that you need to do is you need to download the Python. Latest version is 3.11, I guess now. So if you go to this www.python.org/downloads, you should be able to land in this page where you click on the first link which says the download the latest version of the Windows, so you can download it. As I told, use
This Google Colab itself we can use no directly
yes, sir.
without
Google
installing
Colab.
this.
If without installing this, you can use Google Colab, no issues. So if you want to work with the PyCharm, then this is the one. So PyCharm needs the installed Python to be used. So we have to download the Python first. As I told, most of our code we will write it using the Google Colab only. So I'm just showing this part now. So once you download the exe file, you can run it. You can make sure that whether you want to add the privileges and add the Python to exe file. These two you need to check and then click on the install. So it installs, and then once you're done with installing the Python, if you want the IDE to work with, then you can use the PyCharm. You can just search on the Google as PyCharm. I think the JetBrains is the one where you can download this one. So you can download. I think you can download the community edition. If you go for professional edition, it will give you just a 30 days trial available. So don't go for professional. Go for community edition, which is free, completely free. You can use it and you can work with this. So this is about the installation of Python. So once you download exe, how to install the PyCharm. So that is what the about. Okay, now installing the packages if you're using through command prompts. So there is one more way to use a command prompt. So when we installed the Python for the first time, you can check whether you want to install Python or upgrade Python. Then you can write this line. python-m pip install or upgrade the pip. So it will help you to install any packages. So this will help you to install the Python or update the Python. And then if you want to, these are all the different packages which will discuss at the end of the course, where we're dealing with the NumPy, then we are dealing with Matplotlib, where we will be able to create the charts, we'll be able to create the beautiful diagrams using the Matplotlib. So these are the packages which we'll need. As and when we touch upon those things, I will guide you how to install and all. So as of now, we need not worry about this. So this is just the idea about how to install it. Okay, and then how to run and all in the PyCharm. Now Google Colab. So this is the one I was talking about. So most of you, since all of you have joined this meeting through the Google, so don't have to worry. You have already logged into Gmail. Most of you need to use the Google Chrome. So that is the easiest. That is most compatible with the Google Colab.
Pramod, this Google Colab,
Yes, sir.
that we cannot install in our laptop.
No, sir. It is a web-based tool. It's a web-based tool. Just show you. So
answer one more doubt. Actually, the pip install command, does it install all the packages, or do you have to mention the specific packages individually? I'll have to do.
Yes,
I'll have to install.
Yes, sir. You have to say pip install NumPy. If I want only the NumPy, I just say pip install NumPy. It will install only the NumPy. So pip install the Matplotlib. It will install that one. So what we need to do is, as and when we need those packages, we can install it.
Okay, is there a way to install all the packages? Because I may not. I see. I'm a beginner. I may not know which package deals with what. Okay, so is there a way that to load all the to get all the packages installed in a single command, or
no, sir, because there is like a pip install star. I think that will help you. But as I told, there is lot of n number of packages are available in the Python. So when we go for installing all the things, we may not use it. And when we are using the Google Colab, say I write a code which is of part of NumPy, so it will say that this package is not installed, and it will give you suggestion to install the NumPy also. So that is where you can go for installing NumPy.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Pooja ma'am has asked, C++ and Python are different from each other. Yes, C++ and Python are related to each other in only one sense, where we know that both of them are object-oriented programming languages. They are object-oriented programming languages. C++ draws its inspiration from the C language, and what are the cons were there with the C, that those were tried to overcome in C++ by adding the object-oriented language angle to the C++. But the writing style is different compared to C++ and Python. As I showed one example about how hello world is written in C, C++, Java, and Python. So that is one of the basic needs. Yes, what makes Python different is the ease with which you can write the code. As I told, how hello world is written. If I want to create the GUIs, the support available in C++ and the support available in in Python is far more than C++. So no, not only writing style, with the packages and the adaptability that Python has with respect to the AIML, AIDS, as well as the data science and big data. So C++ is very native, or it is still in the development phase, like whether it can be ported to the machine learning programming or deep learning or data science. But Python already has the packages which can work with all these things. So compared to compared to C++, Python is the most preferred language for this particular thing. Okay, now coming back to Google Colab, all you have to do is just, yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you have suggested two downloads for Python. One is Simple Python, another is PyCharm.
PyCharm.
So can you just explain this difference between these two? These are both development tools. What is the significance of PyCharm and
yes,
how it is different from Simple Python downloads?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just come back to it.
Thank you.
So this is Python. Without this, your PyCharm will not run. So we have to, if your laptop doesn't have Python, then you have to download and install this one. This is for Python, installing Python on your laptop. Okay? And PyCharm is a IDE, which will help you to write the code, execute the code. Okay, so this is installed. This is useful only if your laptop has the
Python.
Python. Yes, if
Okay.
you don't have this one, then this Python will not run because it doesn't have the APIs to compile your code and then run your code.
Okay, for dependencies, we need to
Yes.
install Python first and then PyCharm.
Yes, this should be installed first and then go for PyCharm.
Okay.
And difference between PyCharm and Google Colab, if you are writing a project, a big project where you have multiple developers in under you, and each of them are working with different modules, then PyCharm is good. If you write it as one holistic approach or one complete project where you deliver the .exe file, then you can go for installing the PyCharm. But if you're learning Python, if you want to execute the codes line by line, then Google Colab is the best one. So in our discussion, we will be using Google Colab. Google Colab gives you support for NumPy, Matplotlib, and all. So we will explore all those things. Okay, just coming back to the Google Colab, I think most of you have already logged into your Gmail. So all you need to do is just type in Google Colab. Just type in Google Colab in your browser, and then press enter. I think somebody's mic is on. Please mute it.
Sir, why we are using Colab only? Why not Anaconda or
Sir,
Notebook?
Sir, I told you, n number of tools are available. You can use Microsoft Visual Studio also to write the Python.
Like Notebook has many advantages. No? You can give us everything in Notebook. We can work on home. Whether Colab also is having that feature?
Yes, it is supported by Google. It has look and feel similar to your notebook only, your Anaconda notebook.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So once you log into the Google Colab, the first link that you get, you can just click on the first link, and your window will look like this. So you can start by clicking this new notebook. So this is the link. I'll just share this link in your chat window so that you can just use it. So, okay, this is the Google Colab. So you can see, sir, it has look and feel similar to your Anaconda notebook, correct? So Jupyter notebook, it has similar to that one. And this is where we write a code. We execute it by clicking on this link, this button. And then as and when we write a code, we can start it. So just to give you example, I'll just name this one day one. So today, whatever we write, we can store it in this one. So a simple statement. So hello world, simple statement. And then you need to just click on this run button or control enter, anything, or you can, this is best, just click on this one, and you can see it starts allocating you the RAM. It starts connect to the Google Colab server. It starts allocating you the RAM, and then once it is connected, once it is ready, it will execute this code. So this will take 2 to 3 seconds or 5 to 10 seconds for the first time. But once it is connected, once it is allocated with the RAM for you to initialize and then run, then you can easily write the code. Okay, it's connected now. It has given us some RAM, some disk to run. So this is our output. So if you want to write one more line, you can just click on this one, or you can just press enter also.
Excuse me, sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Like, could you please share again the link for to enter into this Google Colab?
Okay, ma'am, I'll just show it one more time. So all you need to do is, I think this is the link that I shared. The chat window is available. So just type in Google Colab in the browser. The first thing that you see, where it says "Welcome to Collaboratory" or Google Collaboratory, just click on that link, and it will open up this window. So this window is where we decide to use either the existing file, or I can go for new notebook here. You can see at the end there is a button called as new notebook. If you click on this new notebook, a new window will be opened wherein you can start typing the code. Or if you already created one, then you can use it. So since I have already created one, I'll just use this one. Just click on this and then use. Since those who are started new, you can just click on this new notebook. Click on this new notebook, and then one particular window, something like this, will be opening. So it will take some time to open. It will take some time to connect. Let it be as it is, and then once you start writing the code, just once you type the code, just press Control Enter, or you can click on the Run button. So anything is fine. And again, as I told, when you disconnect, again when you connect, it has to start with the initialization and other things, and then it will start.
Sir, one more question, sir.
Yes,
Aman here. Sir, this is a single statement like print, but
Yes.
suppose we want to write multiple statements where the previous statements are connected to each other, and then final output will be decided.
Yes, sir.
That how we can do in this Google Colab, sir?
Since this is one session, so for example, here I create one variable called as X. I assign a value to it. In the next line, I create a value called as Y. I assign a value to it. In the next line, I create a Z. Z is equal to X plus Y. It will make sure that it uses these two lines also. So you don't have to worry about it. It is a part of the same session, and multiple lines, say I can write 100 lines of code in this one and execute it. I can write 20 lines of code in this and execute it. And then here, if I write the next statement, they can still use the codes or output of this 100 lines as well as this 20 lines. So there is no interoperability issue with respect to Google Colab. So you can work with that.
Thank you, sir.
So as and when, this is just an example today I'm showing. So as and when we start with
Excuse me, sir.
exams, yes, ma'am.
If we use some variable, say A, in the previous block, and again we are using A in the next current block, so will it interfere with the logic if it is all are connected?
No, if you say, if I use A here and then if I use next A here, say if I
Yes.
say
A
A
is equal
is
to
equal
10
to 10 here, and then next line, if I say A is equal to 20, it uses 20. It doesn't use 10.
Okay, it will reassign the value.
Yes, it will reassign.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful with respect to how we are using the variables. Okay. Okay, and PyCharm, as I told, this is a PyCharm. So if you want to create a so if I want to run this one particular line, I have to create a new project. I have to give a name, and it asks me whether you want to run in the same window or create a new window. No, I want to run in the same window. So it starts creating. This is for PyCharm. If you, those who have already used with are aware of some IDE, then you can go ahead use PyCharm. Otherwise, we have already always preferred Google Colab because it supports all the things. Most of the APIs that we have, most of the coding concepts that we have, everything it supports, and it is very easy to use. So this is the first line that we get when we create a new file in the PyCharm. Then you can simply say print and then just say hello world. And then to run, you just have to right click on the file. So this is the main.py. This is a file. So just run main, and then it takes time and it uses the output. So this, again, as I told, if you're aware of the IDE that you have already used, then you can always go ahead with this one. Otherwise, the Google Colab will be the best option for us to use it. Okay. Okay, then. So coming back to the things, Google Colab, as I told, this is how we will be using it. So today I will share this with all of you. So you can, if any one of you have not installed, then you can go ahead with installing PyCharm if you want. Otherwise, Google Colab will be the best one. So this is how we create a new notebook. Just click on the new notebook, and then you will get. And this is how we will be having the interface with Google Colab. So this is how we will be using it. So today I will share this with all of you. So you can, if any one of you have not installed, then you can go ahead with installing PyCharm if you want. Otherwise, Google Colab will be the best one. So this is how we create a new notebook. Just click on the new notebook, and then you will get. And this is how we will be having the interface with Google Colab, and then we can start working with the codes. Okay. So coming back to the program language, so this is all about the installation. This is all about things. As I told, if you're installing Java and other things, there are some setup files that you have to install, and then you have to use ID. Similarly, with Python, you have to install a Python, and then you have to use a PyCharm. Or if you don't want that, Google Colab will be the best one. So multiple uh, files will be available. IDEs are available. Visual Studio is one. You have the PyCharm as one. Anaconda, someone told, that is also one, or Google Colab. So based on your flexibility or your interest, you can use any of the tools. Now coming back to the basics, so there are some constructs, there are some things that we have to be aware of it when we start with any language, any program language we are learning, we are reading. We have to be aware of some of the things. So like how to write a single line of command. So there is, whenever in a Python, if I write hash and then anything I write instead of that, it doesn't come out in the output. So this, whatever we are writing, this is a comment with a hash. It will not be displayed onto the screen. So anything which is a code like print hello world, this will be shown to the on the screen as an output. But if I want to write multiple lines, this is for a single line. I just want to write what this particular code is doing. I write this code as this is a command, or this is a printing hello world and all. If I want to write multiple lines of comments where I don't want to write this hash every time, then what I can do is use 3 double quotes initially, write multiple lines, and then end that with the 3 double quotes. So compared to C, C++, Java, this is a little bit tough, but this is how the Python is using it. In C, C++, Java, we use /* for multi-line comments. In Python, we use 3 double quotes first, write the comments multiple lines, and then end with this. So when you run this code, it prints only the hello world. Okay. Now tokens. Apart from the comments, there are other things that we should be aware of it, which are like keywords. What are the keywords that the language supports? What are the identifiers, or how do we name our variables, functions, our classes? How do we use them? Literals, operators, as well as punctuation. So these are the different things that we'll be using. Now, what are keywords? They are predefined words with special meaning. Like if I say that the printer, then there is we usually associate with the one device which prints out the some papers, wherein whatever we give or whatever we want to print, that entire content will go onto that particular paper. So we know that printer means there's some device which will help us in printing some document. Similarly, in program language, there's something called as keywords. That means they come up with some predefined meaning. Like if I say loop or for, that means it is used for some looping construct. If I say if, that is used for some condition statements. So they are the reserved words which must not be used as a normal identifier. Say for example, I want to create a variable. I can always say ABC or XYZ and all. But if I say the keyword name as a variable name, then the compiler itself will throw an error saying that this is a keyword whose meaning cannot be changed. And Python supports 33 keywords. So these are the keywords in Python. You can see false, none, true, and as, assert, break, class, define means this def means when we write functions, we use this one. And most of them we will be seeing whenever we start with the coding. Okay, now identifiers. As I told, whenever you are creating, somebody told I can create a variable as A. Fine, we can create any variable name with A, B, C and all. But if I am writing a project, I'm writing for a bigger project where we have to, usually what the software industry does is, whenever you start with the project, they will give you a rules for how to create the variable names. Like for example, if I'm writing an object about a person, so name will be his attribute to store his name. But what if he has a first name and last name? So we say that F should be small, name N should be capital, and L last name, L should be small, N should be capital. These are some of the rules or the assumption that we make when we start with the thing. Similarly, when we create a variable, we will try to make sure that that means something. Like if I use a is equal to 22, if I write a program where I say a is equal to 22, then I don't know for what that a variable is being used. If I write age is equal to 22, that means I know that that age variable is related to some person's age. So like that, whenever we create a variable, we try to give a proper name to it so that it means something. If you're testing the code, if you're writing some lines just to practice, you can use any name. But if you're writing a project where you completely write 1,000 lines of code, then a meaningful name for the identifiers or variables is must. Now, variables names should not be using the keywords. They must not be using the blank spaces. And the variable name should be made up of the capital letters, small letters, any numbers you can use, barring the first letter should not be a number. And you can use underscore also, and must not start with a digit. That is the rules in Python. And the valid variable names are ABCD. All the names are capital, fine. All the variables, all the characters are small, fine. There's a combination of uppercase and lowercase, that is also fine. There is a combination of letters followed by 3 numbers, that is also fine. That is a combination of character, underscore, numbers, as well as uppercase, lowercase, fine. There is a combination of underscore first and then the character, that is also fine. So these are all the valid variable names. Then what are the invalid variable names? So can anyone tell me why the first one is invalid variable name?
If you start with
Starting with digit.
Yes, it's starting with a digit. So the first one of the rules in Nietzsche, it should not start with a digit. That is one. Second one is also not a valid variable name.
There's a space between them.
Space is there.
Yes, there is.
Blank
When we create a blank spaces, it means that there are two different words that we are using. So we have to be very careful with that. Third and fourth are also not a valid variable because they are
Keyword.
Keywords.
they are keywords. Correct. They are,
But name can start with underscore.
yes, they can start with underscore. So this is how we will be using the things. So invalid, valid tokens is what we know.
Dot is allowed in between name.
Dot, no sir. Dot is used for function calls. Whenever you have function calls, object name dot function calls we can use. So, but for not for the names. Not for the names, only the special character is this underscore. When you're creating a function names or variable names, only the underscore is a special character which can be used.
Is,
No other
is,
things.
is underscore followed by any keyword is valid?
Yes, sir. I think it is valid. So there won't be any problem with this. So literals, string literals, as I told, we can use single quotes or double quotes. So if I say hello word in the single quotes, this is one word. If I say double quotes, it is also properly useful. So numeric literals are integer, float, complex numbers. We can have the integers, we can have float values, as well as we can create the complex numbers also. Then booleans, there are two values with the booleans, true and false. And then there is a special literal called as the none. It's we don't use it actually. If you don't want to assign any value to any variable, then we can use this none. Then operators. So those who are aware of the program language, we know that there are multiple operators which use arithmetic operators. This is basically plus, minus, division, multiplication, modulus operator and all. Then assignment operator, equal to and not equal to, sorry, comparison, not equal to, double equal to, logical operators and or, those are the operators, identity operators as well as membership operators. So I think we will look into these few when we start with the coding. But these are the different operators we will be using it. So this is just an example. Addition, multiplication, division, modulus, exponential, flow, division. These are all the different operators that Python supports. And logical operators, as I told, and or not. So these are like if x is less than 5 and x is less than 10 is a condition. If x value is 4, 4 is less than 5, true, and 4 is less than 10, true. So when there are both the values are true, and operator will give the output as true. If one of them, if x value is 6, 6 cannot be less than 5, so it is false. And then 6 is less than 10, this is true. False and true will not be true. So that is the simple thing. So similarly, we have or and then not. So there are other logical operators, but main things are these things. Membership operators, we have in and not in. So like there is a sequence of characters that I have, like I have good morning, how is the day, something like this. And then I want to know if there is a day word is available in that particular sequence. Then I will say whether x is equal to day, y is equal to good morning, how was your day as a value. So I can check whether x is in y. So this one particular line will give me whether the day value is available in that particular string or not. And not in, if I don't want to search, or if I say that this x should not be there in the y, then that is a not in. So these are all the membership operators. Identity operators is not. That means if you are checking for the same objects, so both the variables are of the same object, we say that x is y. And if I want to check if they are not same object, then we say x is not y. So this is used to compare objects if they are equal or not equal. Now this is just a view of what are the different things that we'll be working with. So numbers, there is integer, there is a float, and there is a complex. Boolean values, there is a true as well as false. These are the values that it takes. Then there is a set where you can have multiple numbers. Then there's a dictionary. It is like a key value pair. And then there is a sequence. Sequence again comes up with the strings, list, and tuples. So in this one, we'll be working more on set, dictionary, list, as well as tuples. So these are all like very important things which we will be using. Okay, now the variables in the Python. So we were discussing about the variables. We have whether we can create a variable, we can assign the values. Yes, we can do all those things, but there is a catch here. So those who are already aware of C, C++, Java, you know that this is not the how we declare a variable, correct? In C or C++ or in Java, we declare the variables along with the data types. If I want a variable which is an integer, then I say int x is equal to 10. If I want a variable float, then I say float x is equal to 10.5. If I want a double, I say double x is equal to 10 point something. If I
This
want
gap is required, or I can put x equal 10 without gap?
You can put without gaps, sir. Just for readability purpose, I'm just using
Yeah,
this.
because in C it is having different meaning, like gap
No, sir,
space itself will have different meanings.
No, sir. Most of the language support this one space. Multiple spaces are not allowed. Single space is allowed.
And without space also same. X equal to 10 without space is same as x equal to 10 with the space.
Yes, they are same, just the same. Only thing is that we don't use multiple spaces. Single space is allowed. Okay, so x is 10 is 1 I have declared here, and y is 10. So as I told, if you're using Java, C, C++, we usually associate a data type name. Here we are not using any data type name. Then we say print x and then print y. It prints x and y. So just to show you how it works. Okay, I'll just use this one. So I'll say variable 1 is equal to 10. Then I say print. You can see it is printing the output. So now I can say where variable 1 is equal to Python, and also I can say print So here the variable 1 that we use was an integer type because it was taking the value as 10. Here it is now a string type. So when we type the value Python, assign the value Python and then run, it is giving me the output as Python. Now similarly, I can make this as the float type also. So I can make this 10.5 and then run, it will give me 10.5. So one thing about Python is when we are using a variable, we can always interchange its data types based on the value that you're assigning. its data type is changing. So for example, if I write here, there is one function called as type, which will help you to understand what is the data type of that variable that you are using. You can see that now variable 1 is 10, the value is 10. When we say print var1, it prints 10. When we say print type of variable 1, it is printing it is belonging to class of integer. Now we'll use the same thing for this one. When now we are assigning variable 1 as Python, we say print var1, the same lines, and then print type of var1, it says it's string type now. Now we'll say what it will show for this data type. So now it is a float type. So this is not there in other languages because the data type is fixed, whereas Python, it allows you to work with the different data types using a single variable. So when you're learning a language, these things are very important to know how we are working with the variables, how we are working with the the loops, construct, and other things, and how we are working with the functions and indentation and these things. So coming back to the variables, so that is how we create it. So we don't use any data type. It is not fixed to a one data type. Whatever value we assign, based on that, it takes an output. So if I say x is equal to 10, it is an integer type. If I say x is equal to Python, now it is of type string. So when we say print x, it will print as a string value, and then output will be shown onto the screen. So again, we can associate the output with some values also. So like here you can see that x is given as awesome, and then we say Python print Python is, yes.
Yeah, Pramod, just a doubt.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you were saying in C, actually, initially we mentioned the data type and then we assign the value to the variable, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Whereas in Python, you are directly assigning and data type is automatically assigned.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think is happening in the background? Efficiency-wise, anything is a problem with Python? Or
no, sir. Efficiency-wise,
is there any issue?
no, sir. Efficiency-wise, there is no issue. It is better compared to that one, because there we are fixing it to read some sort of data only. It should take only the integer data type. Whereas here it is flexible because it is always the same memory location that you are accessing. But data type is changing based on our need. And when you go for real-time data type, real-time projects, you never know what kind of data you are reading. Mostly it is integer or float, but sometimes instead of integer, we might get float values, or we might get double values, which are like the updated version of the float only. So at that time, these variables will help us to cope up with the changes in the outputs.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So here what we are doing is we're trying to bind two things. X is awesome is one word that we are assigning the awesome word to X. And then we are saying print Python is plus X. So in this case, what it prints is, just show that one. Sorry. Okay. So we'll add one more code here. So, okay, we are done with this one. So if I want to add a new line of code, just click on this one. Just click on the code or just press enter, it will get. So we'll say x is equal to then we say print the double quote Python is, and then we can write plus, and we can write x. So this will print this. So it is like a concatenation operation. You are concatenating two different strings using the plus. Okay, this is just a different way in which we are using with the output variables also. So again, you can write x as Python is, y as awesome, and then you can assign that to z. Z is equal to x plus y, and then you can do that is also fine. So output variable, this is also one way of working with that. And then you can use numbers. So you can, when we say x is equal to 10, y is equal to 20, when you say print x plus y, it gives you 10 plus 10 plus 20, which is 30. But here, if I'll just show that one so that you will understand how does the Python work. Say for example, here I have 10, and y will be 20, and then if I say print x plus y, it should give me output as 30. Okay, it gave me output as 10. On the same code, if I'm changing, and then if instead of this one, if I write a b c, so now this is a string. This is a string and this is an integer. But how does this plus work now? Because here it added both the things, because it is both are of same type. So x plus y, it is able to display 30. But here x is the integer and y is a string type. So they cannot be added as this one. That is the reason why it is showing the output. So we have to be very careful with respect to some of these things, whether the operator should work with the similar or multiple data types. So this will give me the error if I try to combine a number with a string. And this is again one more way of assigning the values. So multiple values can be assigned in a single line of statements, x comma y comma z. I can write and equal to, in the double quotes I can say C first, then Java, and then Python. And then when I say print x, y, and z, output will be shown as this one. And then this is also one more way. So all the variables we want to assign a single value. Then I say x comma y comma z is equal to Python, and then this all the three variables will get the output as Python. So this is how we work. Now I understand these are a little different
Sir.
compared to other languages. Yes, sir.
Sir, instead of writing 3 times print x, y, z, can we write print x comma y comma z?
Here, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, if you write x comma y comma z, it will be shown on single line. It's like concatenation also.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so object type, I think this I have shown you. We want to know what is the type of the data that we are using. So how do we know whether x is taking some y or not, some value which is integer or string or anything. So we want to know the type of the variable that we are using. So for that, the Python supports a function called as type. All you have to do is just use the function type, pass the variable name, and then you will get to know whether the class is an integer or a string or a float. So or any other values, Boolean value or anything. So list values, dictionary, tuples, everything we will get to know if we use this list. So this function called as type. This will help us to know what is the type of the object that we are using. Okay. And okay, reading. So far we assigned the values, and then we are not using how to read and all. So we will now just use this one line, how to read, and then we will okay. So to read in Python, we use a function called as input. Okay. So for example, I have name. Let's say input, there's one variable. Input is a function, and I ask user to enter your name. So this is to read from the keyboard. So then I'll say print okay. Now when we run using the input function, so now it is not going to the next line because it is expecting me to enter the values. I'll say A, B, C, D as a name, then press enter. And it shows me the output as good morning ABCD. So whatever the name we enter as a part of this statement, it will be fed into the variable called as name, and then I can easily print this good morning and then associate the name with this. So this will help me to print the name of the person along with this. So not only the name, I can also read the other things also. So I can ask him to enter the age. So I can use another variable, or I can use the same variable, no issues. So anything is fine with this. Okay. just entering some numbers. So it says age is 28. So whatever the value that I'm reading from the keyboard, it goes and sits as the string, and then it will be displayed. So now if I want to know what is the type of that particular age variable, you can see that it is reading it as a string. It is not integer, it is reading as a string. Okay, so we will know how to typecast and all in the coming classes. So as of now, understand that when we read from the keyboard, it is a string. It is always a string. The string value can be converted to integer, float, and anything based on our requirement. So as of now, we are just printing it, so I don't want to change its type. So when we know what type of what is the type of the variable that, or the value that we read, it read as the string. Okay, so that is how the reading happens in Python. As I told, numbers, we have integer, we have float, as well as we have complex. So that is how we read. And then these are the built-in data types. I think this we will cover it in the coming classes, but as of now, just understand these are called as a sequence types. Like this is a list where you start with the square bracket and you write the multiple values in the double quotes, or you can write numbers. And then when you say print type of X, it gives that this is a class of list. The same value can be treated as a tuple with the parenthesis, and then this is a tuple type. So why we are using these things? What are the difference between the list, tuple, dictionary, set, and all? We'll come to know when we start with these things. Dictionary, one thing about the dictionary is it is having the key value pair. Like name is a key, value is ABCD. Name is age, value is 36. So dictionary will always have key value pair, and then the set is the last one which we will be dealing with. There is one more, but set, dictionary, list, and tuple are the main. So again, this is using the flower bracket. So the look and feel of dictionary set are same. Only thing is this use colon between key and value pair. Here there is no key and value pair. It is just one particular word or numbers. And then we have the Boolean. So any true and false can be assigned to any variable, and then you can type in. So this is what I wanted to cover today. So majorly we wanted to focus on the installation or usage of the Google Colab, and then the basic constructs like reading, printing, output, different classes of the variables that we have, and as well as different data types that we have in Python, and majorly the installation and other things. So, okay, before this, I will give you this one link. So today's PPT, you can find it in this particular folder. So in this day one, so I have already uploaded this PDF today. So what I want all of you to do is not in one line, sir. X is equal to 10, Y is equal to 20, not in one line. It can be two different lines. So all of you, please click on this link, download today's materials, so that it will help you to go through this, say whatever the PPT you have used, whatever the code that I've written here. One thing about this one is whenever you copy paste these things, it won't work. Just don't copy paste, try to type in. Sometimes what happens is if I have left a space here like this will throw an error when you're copy paste and running. So just be very careful when you're using this one. Okay, I'll just check. It should not give us the output. So multiple values we are using, correct? So we assigned x comma y comma z is equal to 10. Okay, I think it needs a string or what. Okay, I'll just check this one and then update it by tomorrow. Sorry, in the next week I will update this one. So this used to work because I have executed these codes. So I'll just check this part. Or we can use
Yeah,
multiple.
Pramod, one more clarification.
Sir. Hello? I think multiple values work with the x, comma, y, comma, z, but not the single. I'll just check this part. Yes, sir. Sir, any doubts?
Yeah. Yeah, regarding that input command.
Sir.
If I don't assign it to any variable input.
Okay, sir.
So by default, will it go to any variable?
No, sir. It needs one particular variable. So if I type something here, then press enter, it will not show. Since I have already created one variable name here, it is using the same thing. But whatever you read, it might go to one temporary variable, but will not be of any use to us.
Oh, we'll not know where it. By default, it doesn't go to any certain variable. Actually, in MATLAB, if you type like that, then it goes to answer. No? In ANS, it goes to ANS.
Variables will be there. I'm not sure what is there in Python. I'll just check, sir. That also part I'll just check and then update it the next week. Okay. So for next week, I want all of you to be prepared with this Google Colab. So just if you want to test these programs today, I think you can do that. That is well and good. And also, this is the syllabus that we have. I think there's one syllabus that I gave for this one is this one, where initially it was all basics. So if you are very good with these basics, it will help us in learning other things. So these are the foundations. If you miss out on these things, it will be very tough for us to understand these parts. So initial few classes are very important. Later on, I think you can build upon those knowledge that we have started in the initial way. And then last topics will be very important. This is like actually, frankly speaking, when we go for machine learning, Python in machine learning itself is a big a training course. Like they take you for around 3 to 4 months to learn. So we will not be touching upon those things, but we will be touching upon the libraries, main libraries which can be useful in machine learning. And Matplotlib, I think we should be able to run some charts here, so that will also be helpful. And after a few modules, I will start sharing the quiz links. I will start sharing some assignments. So those will help you in learning these things. And also, I'll try to get some the materials which can be useful to for you in reading. Okay. So with this, I think today we will stop at this point. But next week onwards, it will be 2.5 to 3 hour class with 15 to 20 minutes break in between. And I think that's it from my side. If any queries are there, you can ask.
Sir, actually, is there any book or PDF for this Python learning?
Yes, sir. There are many books are there, but I will find out the best one. Again, it's a beginner, intermediate. There is something like that will be there. I'll search and then I'll share it in the WhatsApp group, sir. You are there in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I am there. So please share, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. I'll share. I'll share that by tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yes, go on, sir.
Actually, sir, hi, Vikas here.
Yes,
one doubt is there. Can we install this Python tool and ID in Linux also?
Sir, Linux comes with the default built-in for Python. So, like, I can show you. You have a command prompt in the Linux. It will be something like this. So all you need to just run and then use it.
Okay.
So in Ubuntu, it is there. In Ubuntu or Linux, it is there. But if
what about the RHEL, sir?
Which one, sir?
RHEL.
RHEL. RHEL means I am not getting that sense.
Red Hat Enterprise Linux, sir.
Any Linux you take, it has the support for Python. Any line. But if you're using Google Colab, you just need one browser and an internet connection. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, I'm not in on this WhatsApp group. So can you share the books and all material on the Google Drive where you are just now shared the today's presentation?
Yes, ma'am. I think I'll be sharing with this here. I'll share the one. I'll create one text file and then I'll add the links and all, so you can go ahead and download those things.
Yes, sir.
And
That will be useful,
one
sir.
more
Even
thing,
the
sir.
syllabus, you can put it there, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll do that, sir.
Sir, can you send that book PDF book link also? Whatever you're telling us, some beginner's guide.
Yes, sir. I'll
Yeah,
create.
before starting the second week class.
Yes, sir. Sure,
I
sir.
just we went to look up those things.
Okay, sir. By tomorrow, I
Thank
will
you.
try to upload this thing. So syllabus as well as the books also.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, in the last question you did x comma y comma z is equal to 10.
Yes.
Whether in that case can we put x is equals to, because we are assigning only single value to it, so x is equals to y is equals to z is equals to 10. Can we do that way?
I think yes. I think that is the how it works, I guess.
Because instead putting of commas there, because all the variables are assigned to one value.
Correct. Ma'am. I think that is how it works, I guess. I somehow missed the trick. That's how it works. So comma means it is usually when you are working with a string, the comma is needed, something like this. I think now if I create this one, or if I say Python, it should work. Yes.
Yeah.
I think not.
If I need to assign different values to it, this is the one value which I assign 10, and if I put comma x comma y comma z, and if I need to put different values, suppose x is 10, y is 20, and z is 30. So can I do it in the single line?
You can just a second. I think when comma means it is usually with strings that we use.
Yeah. So in that case, I need to put even x comma y comma z.
So here now it is taking as the tuples.
Tuples, right?
So it doesn't work. So if you are having different values, I think that is the way you can use it.
Okay.
Separately, we can use it.
Okay.
Okay, then. So today we will stop at this point, and as I told, I will upload the PPTs as well as PPTs available here. I'll upload the syllabus, and by tomorrow I'll upload the books also, so that it will be helpful for you. And as and when I write the code, so today is just an introduction, so I won't be uploading this. But after from next class onwards, whatever code I write here, I'll also share that in this link, so that it will be helpful for you to read through that also. Okay then. So
sir, excuse me, sir, this is Savita. Sir, actually, can you add me also to WhatsApp group? You told some WhatsApp group is there.
Yes, ma'am. I think you have Dinesh sir's number.
Sorry.
Dinesh sir's number. Dinesh sir from IT.
Okay. Yeah.
I will add you, madam.
Okay, fine, sir. Fine. No issues,
Pramod, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, and you are from which organization, madam?
I'm from CAPS, CABS
Okay,
Bangalore.
I will add it, madam.
Okay, sir.
Pramod, sir, I have one doubt.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Whether this notebook can be saved for future use?
Yes, sir. You can save this one. I can save. I can show download as you have multiple options. .py to run as a Python file, or if you want to run in Anaconda or in the Google Colab, something like this, you can share it as a .ipynb. So this is a format for that. Anything you can download.
So the notebook which you share, we can open it directly here.
Yes, I will be downloading as ipynb.
Yeah, ipynb is the notebook. Yes, that will be good.
You can use it. So directly you can click, it will open in your thing. You can run through the code and all.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay then. Rohit sir, for pip install Python offline, it won't work because internet has to be there to download some things. Then only it will work. So you have to be connected to internet when you are installing, when you are updating the packages.
Sir, is there any command to clear the screen in Python?
There was clear. ELS clear is not there.
Like we have in MATLAB is clear
sir.
RCLS. Whether we have in my Python also?
In this one, there's one like just a second. There's clear all output. There's one option was available here. Here, sir. Here you can see clear all outputs. So if you click on this one, every output is clear. The code will be remain same. Code won't go. All the outputs will be removed.
In Colab also, right?
Yes. In edit, you can go at the end. You have this clear all outputs. You can click on this. Every output will be taken out. The code remains. Okay then. So if no questions, I think we are good to end today.
Sir, one question.
Sir.
Sir, actually, are these languages, like C, C++, C#, and Python, they are interoperable? Like, for example, can I use Python in the backend for some ML code? And can I use C# or VB sharp, in the for creating the GUI? And can I call the functions of Python from this GUI?
Yes, sir.
Is that possible?
Python supports that interoperability, so you can do that. There are multiple applications are there where GUI is Python, backend is some other legacy applications. So that is also allowed.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay then. So we'll meet next week.
Will you be sharing recordings to us?
How it is different than MATLAB actually, means as far as I understood this, it is similar to MATLAB, only MATLAB is and this is freely available. So what is the advantage we'll be getting of Python in comparison to MATLAB?
MATLAB, I'm not aware of it, but Python, all I can say is Python gives you a lot of support. Like as I told, for higher applications, when you go for writing the machine learning and data science projects, you can write it in a very less number of codes compared to the MATLAB, I guess.
Okay. So it means it has a bigger library, or means a stronger library.
There is strong library, there is strong support available, and also it has very simple codes which you can understand easily.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So will you be sharing the recordings to us for these sessions?
I think Dinesh sir.
Yeah, I'll be sharing recording, madam.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And Dinesh sir, you please add me also in the WhatsApp group. I am also not there.
Yeah, I will add it. I will.
Yeah. Yes.